Once there was a homeless man, and he's been trying to gather food, and each day he keeps noticing that his food disappears. One day he caught the mouse that kept stealing his food, and he asked the mouse, "Why do you keep stealing from me? I'm a homeless man. You can steal from the rich people and it won't even affect them." The mouse then told the homeless man, "It is in your destiny that you can only have 8 items in your possession. No matter how much you gather, no matter how much you beg, this is all you will be able to have." The homeless man was shocked and said, "Why is that my destiny?" And the mouse replied, "I don't know. Maybe you should try and ask the Buddha." So the homeless man goes on his journey to meet Buddha, and as he's going it gets late. So he ends up at a wealthy family's house and he asks if he could stay the night at their house as it's getting late and he have no place to go. They let him in and asks him, "Young man, why are you traveling so late?" And he answered, "I have a question for the Buddha and tomorrow I'll be on my way." The family then says, "Can we give you a question to ask the Buddha? We have a 16 years old daughter who cannot speak. We just want to ask what do we have to do to make her speak?" So the young man thanks them for shelter and tells them, "Of course, I'll ask your question for you." The next morning, he continues his journey to meet Buddha, and in his way, he sees a sea of mountains which he have to cross. He started crossing the mountains. As he climbs one mountain, he meets a wizard. The wizard decided to use his staff to take the young man and himself fly them across the sea of the mountains. While they were crossing the mountains, the wizard asks him, "Where are you going? Why are you deciding to cross these mountains?" The young man said, "I'm going to ask Buddha a question about my destiny." The wizard then says, "Can I please give you a question to ask Buddha? I've been trying to go to heaven for 1,000 years. According to my teachings, I should have been able to go to heaven now. Can you please ask Buddha, what do I have to do to go to heaven?" The young man replies, "Of course, I'll ask your question for you." And as he continues his journey, he runs into his last obstacle, which is a river that he can't cross. Luckily, he meets a giant turtle who decides to take him across the river, and as they were crossing the river, the turtle asks, "Where are you going?" He replies, "I'm going to see the Buddha to ask him a question about my destiny." The turtle then says, "Can you please ask a question for me too? I've been trying to become a dragon for 500 years. According to my teachings, I should have become a dragon by now. Can you please ask the Buddha, what do I have to do to become a dragon?" The homeless man thanks the turtle for taking him across the river and says, "Of course, I'll ask the question for you." The homeless man finally meets Buddha, and the Buddha tells everybody that I'll answer 3 questions for everybody here, but only 3 questions. The young man's shocked. He has 4 questions to ask, so he thinks carefully. He thinks about the turtle that has been trying for 500 years to become a dragon. The wizard has been living for 1,000 years trying to go to heaven, and the young girl has to live her whole life unable to speak. Then he looks at himself and says, "I'm just a homeless beggar. I can just go back and continue begging." So as he looks at everyone else's problem, his problem suddenly seems so small. He feels sorry for the turtle, the wizard and the young girl and decides to ask all of their questions. So he asks Buddha, and the Buddha answers, "The turtle is unwilling to leave his shell. As long as he is unwilling to leave the comfort of his shell, he'll never become a dragon. The wizard always carries his staff and never puts it down. It acts as an anchor keeping him from heaven. And as for the girl, she'll be able to speak when she meets her soulmate." So the homeless man bowed to the Buddha and went on his journey back home. He reunites with the turtle and tells the turtle, "Hey, you just have to take off your shell and you'll become a dragon." The turtle then takes off his shell, and inside his shell are priceless pearls found in the deepest part of the ocean, and he gives it to the homeless man and says, "Thank you. I no longer need this because I'm now a dragon," and flies away. The homeless man reunites with the wizard on the top of the mountain and says, "Hey, you just have to put down your staff and you will be able to go to the heaven." The wizard lets go his staff by giving it to the young man. He thanked him and ascends to heaven. The young man now has wealth from the turtle and the power from the wizard. He goes back to the family that gave him shelter and tell them, "The Buddha said your daughter will be able to speak when she'll meet her soulmate." And at the moment, the daughter came downstairs and said, "Hey, is that the same man that was here last week?" The young girl and the once homeless man had found their soulmates. This story tells us so many things and teaches us so many lessons. Sometimes in life we have to give things in order to get some things. Sometimes if you want to become a dragon or you want to go to heaven, then you have to leave behind the thing that makes you most comfortable. If you want to be something or if you want to achieve something, we have to leave our comfort just like the turtle and the wizard did. When you are alone or you are lost, our problems seem so big to us. But when we see other people, we will see that there are some people who have it much worse than us.